that um, not everybody can come in here. I just want to hop on really, really quick to talk about some themes that I am seeing with during the week, during seeing clients. I have been seeing this theme of change and people really, really, really desiring to change their patterns, their behaviors, their mindsets, their beliefs. I don't know if it is because it's spring has sprung and everybody is in the newness of things, the newness of life. But what I have been seeing is people authentically trying to change their habits, their behaviors, their ideology, the way that they move and operate in the world, and they're getting such resistance. And I wanted to hop on here really quickly. I know there is a lot going on, and it's not too early, not as early as I usually am, but it's pretty early. But I won't be before you long. There is such a difficulty when you are trying to create a new pattern, a new mindset, a new behavior, right? And especially those who struggle with people pleasing, those that struggle with affirmation, outside acceptance, perfectionism. It can be a really hard time trying to change in the midst of people. And so I was having a conversation with one of my really good friends, and she was like, "What is that? Why is it so hard? Why is there so much resistance when people try to better themselves, improve themselves, move forward, shift, change? Why do the people around them struggle and not help, right? Not help, not assist?" And so one of the things I was speaking to her about and wanted to talk to you all about is this idea of role strain and systems theory. And again, very technical, but it happens. It's very, once I explain it, it's going to make some sense, right? So role strain, there's this idea of role strain, right? In every system, in every family, ministry, work, like there is a role assigned to you, whether that's if you're a wife, you're a mother, you are a husband, you are a spouse, you are a coworker. There is a role that you play in that system. And when you are trying to change you're trying to change how you operate in that system, there is some strain there. There is some resistance. Hi, Hit Dice. There's some resistance. And so when you are trying to change your presentation in any system, there is some tension. There is some, I always say that for every force, there's an opposite force. So if I'm jumping up, gravity is trying to pull me down. So if I'm trying to move forward, force is trying to keep me back. So when I am trying to change my ideology, my behaviors, my way I walk in the world, there is resistance. And so redefining yourself can legitimately feel uncomfortable. I want people in that position to validate that emotion, that you are going to feel uncomfortable, even if your desire is to truly change, even if your desire is to reset, even if your desire is to challenge those patterns that you've already been participating in. There is legitimately going to be uncomfortability. What I always say is somebody in this situation, because these roles are shifting and changing, these ideas are shifting and changing, somebody in this situation is going to be uncomfortable. It does not always have to be the person that's trying to change. Okay, so that's my first point, is there has to be some navigation of that role strain when you are trying to become and enter into your authenticity, your authentic self. Number two, we have to, right, overcome the fear of disappointing other people. Okay, especially for my people pleasers and recovering people pleasers in the space, you have to overcome the fear of disappointing others. Because if you have a role in that system, you have been doing this thing for a really long time. For example, if you are the one who is the caretaker, you've always been the caretaker, whether you want it to be or not. You are the one, if things go to shambles, you are the one who comes in and is the caretaker. If you like that role, if that's part of your authentic self, if you appreciate that about you, you value that about you, then it's going to work out. You don't have to change that. However, if that was a role that was placed on you and you picked it up, when you try to change it, there's going to be resistance. And guess what? People are going to be disappointed. Good morning, Stash Cash. So people are going to be disappointed. You have to be okay with that. Like I said before, somebody in this situation, when I am trying to change and better myself, there are going to be people who are trying to keep me in the role they assign me to. All right. So understand that people's reactions reflect their expectations, not your worth and not your value. Sometimes we equate our value and our worth with an action that we perform in that system. Right. So if I am, again, we go back to the caretaker. If I'm a caretaker and people value that, then they value me. That's not necessarily enough to sustain you in that role if that's not what you were designed to do, right? Understand that growth is going to make other people feel uncomfortable, and that's okay. All right. Sometimes it's okay for people to be disappointed. It's okay for people to not get what they need out of a situation as long as you get what you need. That self care is self advocacy. I'm not telling you to go ahead and make everybody mad. What I am saying is you have to adjust. Okay. It's okay for them to be uncomfortable and let go of the fear of disappointing other people. Okay. Number 3, breaking free from overcommitment and burnout. When people are trying to change, again, if I have been operating in a role for a really long time, I have to learn to say no without guilt and prioritize very wisely. Meaning, sometimes I'm gonna have to say no. I have 1,001 videos on my channel about, not 1,001, probably like 6, about how to say no. Sometimes we get so it's like this toxic need to say yes. For some of us, I'm not going to say that's for everybody, but especially for people pleasers, this is toxic need to say yes because I get my approval, my acceptance, my affirmation from saying yes to people, right? We have to break free from that and say no, and it's okay to say no. We want to acknowledge that change is change can be difficult, change can be tiring, change can be exhausting, change can be painful, but it is worth it if you are aligning yourself with who you are on the inside. All right. Number 4, I want to say you want to release guilt and obligation. Okay. It is okay for me to take care of me. That's for all of us. It's okay for me to have feelings. It's okay for me to change. I can change my mind 4 times today, and that should be okay for the people around me that love and care about me, right? So breaking free from that idea that if I disappoint somebody, if I say no, if I change, if I don't show up for them because I legitimately have something to do, if I pick me first, release the guilt, okay? Release the guilt. Number 5, breaking generational patterns. This one is really important, especially when you are in a system, especially when you are in, how can I say, this is what you've always done, kind of like what we talked about before. If I am in a system, if I am stuck in that system and those patterns, and this is how people behave in my family, this is generational. I was taught this is accepted. Learning that those behaviors are not destiny and I don't have to pick up those patterns is vitally important. Just because everybody in your family was X, Y, and Z does not automatically assign you to that role or function. Okay. Grieve what this is a good one. When you are changing, sometimes you have to grieve what you had. Okay, you have to grieve what was, you have to grieve the previous version of yourself, right? And embrace the freedom of the new. I have seen so many people go instinctively, almost automatically back to what they know was not good for them because it felt more comfortable than pressing forward to the new. Listen, I would tell people all the time, mourn that phase of your life, mourn those relationships, mourn those connections, mourn them, because even the worst relationships, the worst phases of our lives, they need to be mourned. We have to put in them in order to start something new. Okay. Renew your mind about those things. Number 6, understand the impact of change on relationships, which is kind of where we started. This whole idea that if I need to change, but the system relies on me operating a certain way. So the family system, the employment system, whatever system, interpersonal relationships, they rely on me responding a certain way. So when I change, I have to understand that that is uncomfortable for people. A lot of times we expect people to celebrate our change. We expect people to be happy for us. We expect people to rejoice with those who rejoice. Where there are some patterns that have to realign them, that are going to have to realign themselves because you're no longer the scapegoat. You're no longer the hot mess. You're no longer the gossip. You're no longer the one who always needs help, because the person who always needs help usually has somebody who always helps them. So that now redefines their role without their consent. So understand that that might impact how that relationship functions. And change is going to disrupt the status quo. So you have to expect resistance. You have to expect that there's going to be opposition, and there are going to be people that are trying to put you back into the role you are trying to break free from. Understand that you cannot have more allegiance to them than you have to yourself. Okay? Cannot have more allegiance to them than I have to myself. There are some people that I cannot take with me. There are some people I have to let go of. There are some people that are not going to celebrate the new version of me, the healthier, healed, whole, right? They're not going to appreciate that because there's something about them that needs the broken version of me, okay? Number 7, setting boundaries amid family and social and societal pressure. Again, recognize what's toxic versus healthy expectations. Self-explanatory. We've been doing this thing for a long time, that doesn't mean it was always healthy. Okay? Remember that boundaries are necessary for emotional well-being. Number 8, embrace the ripple effect of change. Okay? Embrace that. Embrace that change is occurring. Embrace that there's positivity on the other side of this discomfort, other side of this pattern of change. There's positivity there. If your change is something that you want to do, okay? Number 9, refine and redefine relationships with grace. Again, offer those people that are coming into your process grace, because they're not going to like it. There will be some people, let me be clear, there will be some people that will congratulate you, but there will also be people that are like, I don't like this. This is not what I'm used to. Go back. Go back. And there is always a temptation to revert back to what you know. So give them grace as they try to accept this version of you, this version of yourself, this more authentic, more aligned version. Okay. And then last point I told you I wasn't going to be before you long. Build a support system that fuels your growth, okay? We have a YouTube community. Are you locked in? That is a relationship that is fueling growth, right? A systemic relationship, a community, relationships that are pushing you forward versus trying to hold you back, right? It's going to look different for everybody. It's going to look different for various versions of change, but you need to have community, especially when everything around you is trying to keep you stuck. You need people that are going to fuel your growth and move you forward. So like I said, I just wanted to hop on here really quickly because I've been seeing this theme. I have been seeing this theme of people trying to change, trying to grow, trying to blossom, and everything around them, their family, friends, kids, employment, everything is like, no, we want the old version. Don't change. We want that version. It's the one we like. And that can be a real challenge for folks. And so I just wanted to give you some encouragement. It is worth being authentic to yourself. All of the discomfort, all of the frustration, all of the annoyance, sometimes the tears, sometimes the pain is worth being true to who you are on the inside. Because what good is it if I make everybody else happy, which is a falsehood anyway, because you can't make everybody happy all the time. What good would it be to make everybody else happy and me, myself, be miserable? No, 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 sir, no, madam. Find yourself a community that will celebrate you, that will congratulate you, that will help you move forward. And I pray you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Oh no, she's not showing me on her live, Mrs. Supreme. That's wild. Anyway, look, I'm wrapping up because I'm about to go over there. I'm about to go over there to Crystal's live because I was just on my last point. But find people that are going to celebrate you in your process, in your season of change. I will see you guys in the next live. Wait, y'all not all here. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna go over there. All right, bye guys.